Ramadan right now who are pausing from drinking water and eating food to connect to God in a good way. Gratitude for the wild multiplicity of our universe, the way in which there's so many different types of people, so many different ways of speaking, so many different songs that we sing, so many ways in which the land blooms. We just give gratitude right now for all the ways in which we are able to interact with this beautiful multiplicity, that we are just a tiny part of this beautiful multiplicity, and just feel ourselves as we give gratitude and thanks for that, just feel ourselves as part of it. Feel ourselves as like one little tree in the forest, like one little flower in the field, just to feel like that for a second as we begin in gratitude tonight for our lives, for our unique color, our unique voice, our unique genius, our unique story. We are a circle of stories tonight that come together in support of our relatives, come together as family, come together in support of the water. What a beautiful blessing to gather with such a sacred purpose. So we're in that gratitude right now. And one of my elders tells me gratitude is a posture. So it's about the way in which we're able to feel it in our being and have it straighten up our spirit so that we can be together in a good way. Thank y'all so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and let music ground us. Right now, tonight, there's people all over, not just up where our relatives are in Anishinaabe and Dakota territories fighting pipelines, but there's people all over the world who are protecting the water. And so that's who we gather with tonight. We can see each other's faces. We're going to get to hear each other's voices, but we actually gather with people all over the world who are doing amazing work, putting their lives on the line. And so we just remember how big our circle is. We remember how big our circle is. And we're going to do it tonight, specifically honoring those fighting the pipeline with a song. This song actually comes from the words of one of my aunties, Auntie Karina Gould, here in LaShawn territory, Ohlone LaShawn territory, in the Bay Area. When she talks about protecting her sacred sites, she says, "The ancestors just told me. They spoke, and I knew what I had to do." And I felt like that's what this song was originally written for. And so this is how we're going to do it. To get ourselves started, to get our voices and our spirits warmed up with a song, to gather, the way music can bring us in. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to actually speak these words before I sing them and invite you to just say them out loud so we can connect to the lyrics and what they mean. So we're going to say into whatever room you might be in right now, and there might be other people in it. They're going to learn the lyrics too. There might not be, but you're going to echo it up in the walls of whatever you at. So we're going to say, the ancestors have spoken. Now is the time. Protect the sacred. Stop the pipeline. And that was good. That way we just said it, it just the words came through us. And now we're going to say it one more time as if we actually are declaring the truth the way that my auntie was when she really said these words. And so we're going to say it like this. The ancestors have spoken. Now is the time. And there's some people who ain't sure about that. So say that one more time. Say, now is the time to protect the sacred. What an amazing blessing. Just feel that in your body. Now is the time to protect the sacred. Say that. Stop the pipeline. I think we're ready to sing those words. So we're going to let this go ahead and just ground us tonight. You got to let out whatever emotion you might be carrying in this particular moment into these words as we get grounded. We're going to do it together. Welcome to the circle. The ancestors have spoken. Now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Try that with me. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. You got it. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Singing now. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline like you mean it. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Tell the people the ancestors have spoken. Now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Let them know the ancestors have spoken. Now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline, move with it. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline like a prayer. Say the ancestors spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Two more times. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. One more time. The ancestors have spoken, now is the time. Protect the sacred, stop the pipeline. Thank you so much, my people. Welcome to the circle. Thank you for singing, for bringing your voice in that prayer into whatever space you are in. It is good to be together. It's good to sing. It's good to lift our voices. It's good to join ourselves and our spirits, all our people out there fighting for the water.
Thank you, Lou. So beautiful. And welcome everybody. Such a beautiful group here. Some community members of our Thrive Street Choir, our Thrive East Bay, and some community members I have yet to meet. So what we're gonna invite you to do now is put into the chat, if you haven't already, your name, your pronouns if you want, where you are, and a word or two of what you're bringing to this circle. What would you like to contribute here? And what brought you here? We just want to be able to see who's in the room. There's a lot of us who we won't say out loud, but we know that your voices are ringing out tonight as we're singing on mute in our own spaces. So go ahead and introduce yourself. My name is Eva, and I, she, her pronouns, and I live in Berkeley, California on Ohlone land, and I'm a co-founder of the Thrive Street Choir, which is the coolest group in town. It is bringing music to the movements. Yeah. And I helped start this group a few years ago because I was tired of protests that only had chants and only had yelling. I wanted singing, and I wanted drumming, and I wanted marching, and I wanted the strength that I've been given by music. So I wanted to give that to others. So that is why we exist, and we are here for the different progressive movements out there to work with us and turn the street into the choir. That's sort of our thing, is that you don't have to be a professional singer to do this. You can just be there, and then we'll help you be the choir for the actions, for the direct actions, and also for the longer term strategy movement building work. So good to see some of your introductions. And tonight our intention was to create a space to have like an old school teach-in, like let's learn about the issue, let's learn about the politics of what's going on the ground with this amazing fight to stop Line 3. And I can't believe this is still, you know, going on, but we have to still show up for this. And so That's our intention, is to do a teach-in, to do some learning, and to combine that with the fun of music. And so we've got a really beautiful hour-and-a-half plan for you. Make sure you take care of your needs during this time, get up and do what you need to do, but we're gonna be here till 7:30 Pacific time. We've got some amazing guest speakers for you to teach us what's going on, learn together. We've also got some multimedia, some videos for our learning. We've got some ways that you can get involved, contribute. You've already have contributed by being here, and for whatever you were able to donate, thank you so much. And then we're gonna spend the second half of the event learning songs that you can bring if you go to Minnesota or to any action. So that's our plan. All right, T.
Hey everybody, my name is T. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm here on Ohlone land in so-called Oakland, California. And just to reiterate what Eva said, there are a few pieces that are, there are a few groups that are here tonight. Eva and I are the representatives of Thrive Street Choir, and Eva has already sort of introduced us, but we show up at marches and rallies and protests around the Bay and really bring song as part of the resistance. And we've partnered here with Lou Aya of the Peace Poets. Lou has done song as resistance, has brought song as resistance in many different places, and has created so many songs for the movement. And it's a real gift and an honor to be able to collaborate with Lou here in this way. And we're also here with Brenna, who comes from the Catholic Worker Movement and has been showing up on the front lines in Minnesota, as well as Teddy and Gaia. If you want to wave your fingers, those of you who have introduced Teddy and Gaia and Brenna and Lou, you can see them there on the screen. So there are a few of us who have shown up today, and we're really wanting to introduce you to what's happening if you don't already know, or give you updates if you already know some of what's happening with Line 3, as well as teach you songs so that you can bring them to the front lines, and or just so that we can sing together as an act of resistance in this room, that actually, as we're singing here, even in this space, that it can nourish our spirits and give you strength to take action going forward. And I just want to say another piece as we're here, honoring that we're singing right now for Line 3, for resistance to Line 3, and that we're in the context of so much else that's happening, that there's been the murder of Duante Wright, that there's a Derek Chauvin trial happening. And so that this is a space that is working for liberation, and that it's that this liberation, that as we're singing for resistance to Line 3, that it's not separate from everything else that's happening. And so may this space be part of the resistance, part of the liberation. And I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend your time this way this evening. And I think with that, I will pass it to Lou. Do you want to introduce just a little bit more about how music is important to you in the movement?
Definitely. I mean, you know me, T. I like to just kind of do it, and so though won't say too much, but just really grateful that as part of my crew is from the Bronx, New York, and kind of did basically hip hop and spoken word, and then separately we're organizers, and then shifted kind of everything we did when we realized if people actually sing a song that really resonates in their heart when they do it in action, and other people hear that and see that, they gonna want to do the action. And so our organizer selves was like, oh damn, music is powerful in a way that it can actually move people who might not otherwise participate to get up on the front lines, to shut shit down, to really take over space, not just with our rage, but also with our love, with beauty, with connection, so that we could actually be the medicine that society needs so much. And so I just want to say that about that's the story of the Peace Poets. We're still a hip hop crew, in all the ways that, and exists in the places that bring us. But we've been blessed to also bring music to the movement by creating songs specifically for direct action. And so one thing I'll just say is that we believe that each person is an artist, each person is a poet, each person, is a singer in their own way. And so we're gonna share songs tonight I'm kind of always writing songs for different groups and different places and different movements, but I'm also always telling those groups, let's write the song together. How can we create it together? What do you really want to say? What's the thing that your spirit needs to express right now? I believe in the melody that's going to randomly somehow come through you, the way the melodies come through. And so I just believe in your ability to write songs and encourage you. Our movement needs more original songs. Write a song about the local city mayor, what he needs to do, write a song about your own block and, put your street name. People love things that are like really that direct and connected. So that's my invitation for y'all to be in your creative power. I can't wait to hear y'all songs too. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Beautiful. Amen, amen. So with that, we will dive into some of our teaching part of the night to get grounded in the righteous anger of what this is about and the fierce protectiveness that we all have. So I am going to share some videos. It's going to be about 5 minutes of a video that Ted and Gaia shared with me, which is called The 7 Teachings of the Anishinaabe in Resistance. So it's a short documentary that gives context on the political and ecological consequences of this issue, and just a little trigger warning about, some violent scenes, because this is a violent issue.
The purpose of today's hearing is for oral argument on the proposed Line 3 replacement project.
From Enbridge's perspective, this is their largest project in company history, and everything is riding on this. And then on the other side, landowners, Anishinaabe people, youth, all these people that are hunters, fishers, that are looking at a tar sands line going through untouched places. We're talking about sending tar sands through the headwaters of the Mississippi River and through all this treaty territory along the way in 41 wild rice watersheds.
Enbridge is asking you, the Commission, to issue a certificate of need and a route permit, which will relinquish through eminent domain 340 miles of northern Minnesota to a private company. Each of these 340 miles represents the livelihoods, homes, rights, clean water, culture, climate change impacts, and people of Minnesota. The state of Minnesota is being asked to give up something more valuable than the price of this pipeline.
Replacement of Line 3 is the responsible thing to do, both for our communities and for the environment.
Enbridge has, consistently throughout this process stated that it cares deeply about the citizens of Minnesota, and that this is about job creation. This is about replacing an aging line, an over 60-year-old pipeline that is currently leaking. If that were all there were to it, I think that we'd be in a very different situation. But what we're looking at instead is Enbridge needing to expand the industry. We're looking at oil that is not meant for Minnesota markets. It's meant for foreign economy.
For the tar sands producers, the need is to get more oil to the oceans. So there are 3 pipelines out there, not just this one. There's the Keystone XL project, there's the Trans Mountain Expansion project, there's this one. They are all designed to get as much oil to the coast as possible. The survival strategy is to get access to some kind of global markets that are supposed to make up for the lack of demand in the United States. So what gives? If the demand is dropping, if the likely production is dropping, why is there this need for a pipeline?
Black Snake Killers! No line 3.
Tribal lands are at the greatest risk of an oil spill. That's environmental racism. That's why I'm here. I hope people in Minnesota wake up. I hope a lot of frontliners wake up and warriors wake up and they join us.
We want to shut this pipeline down.
If we want our children to live in a clean, toxic-free world, we're going to have to step up and show them how it's done.
Everyone here is fearless. There's courage here. There are warriors here, from all walks of life. Not just Indigenous people. It's not just an Indigenous fight. Bring that element of nonviolent direct action.
It doesn't look too good with the pipeline moving right behind her while she's getting arrested. Well, explain why. What are you doing? Someone's just being arrested right now. Grabbed by 2 officers. For no reason.
Law enforcement is here to uphold the law of corporations and private property because they have money, they have nice vests, they have logos. We don't have money, so we're here because this is our only option.
Number 2, truth. Truth is something that we have to learn to express. It's got to come through our hearts and our chests, not so much through our brains when we stress. You can find truth on a quiet night. You can also find it in the wild rice.
We believe that we are our ancestors' prayers in motion right now. With us, the Ojibwe, what we're protecting is the wild rice, the food that grows on water.
This is what a sustainable economy looks like, thousands of years of rice. Nobody else in the world has thousands of years of the same economy but us. How about we hang out with it for another 1,000 years? You know what I'm saying? This is a low carbon economy that does not require fossil fuels to haul it around the world, right?
Ooh. All right. I will chat out the link so you can watch the whole film. Pretty incredible. And over to you, Ted and Gaia. Oh, I'm sorry. First, over to you, Brenna.
Sure.
Share with us fill in the gaps for us.
Thanks, Eva. Yeah, that film, I highly recommend everybody watch that film. It's not even 40 minutes long, and it's really informative. And it gives you a scope of how long this resistance has been going on. Enbridge first proposed this quote replacement project, which the film made clear it's not a replacement. They're leaving the old corroding pipeline in the ground, and they're building a brand new line and almost doubling the size, the amount of tar sands oil that can go through it. But they first proposed this back in 2014, and Indigenous nations have been fighting this since 2014. Camps, there have been resistance camps for several years. So Indigenous nations and environmental groups have been working together. The process of public hearings, which somewhere else in the film it mentions, there were public hearings for many months. And out of 72,000 people that spoke about the pipeline, 68,000 of them were against it. So 68,000 Minnesotans out of 72,000 that spoke were against this pipeline. But the Public Utilities Commission approved the permits anyways. So I've been involved through the Catholic Worker Movement. There's a Catholic worker in Duluth, Minnesota, who through the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and working with Indigenous women in that area, became involved in the pipeline struggle several years ago. As many of you probably know, wherever construction projects like this happen, many man camps happen, which there are man camps for Line 3, which Enbridge wants to deny, but they do exist. But Enbridge is more so filling up all the hotels and motels and wherever there is the existence of these many, many men who are out of, like, away from their communities, because this pipeline is not actually giving many jobs to Minnesotans at all. Most of the vast majority of jobs are going to out of state people. There is sex trafficking, and actually recently, in a recent stain, 2 Enbridge workers were arrested. We know that more were involved in soliciting sex from underage women because a cop pretended to be an underage woman, and they caught them. So we know that more of that is going on. There were just 2 arrested because there was a sting. Anyway, I got involved because I'm a member of the Catholic Worker Movement. So we did a pipe yard occupation back in 2018. I got to be a member of the 4 necessity valve turners. We actually got to shut down the existing lines 3 and 4 back in 2019. We're still facing trial for that because of COVID. It's taken a long time. In just the last several months alone, over 250 people have risked arrest and been arrested, including people who've sat in trees for 10 days. People are locking themselves to equipment. I'm excited to hear what Teddy and Gaia have to say. I haven't been so much involved in the direct action, but I've spent a lot of time at the camps over the last few months, just doing what I can, like doing dishes, sitting by the fire, learning from folks up there. There's so many brave, beautiful human beings up there. Let's see, I'm trying to think of things that I wanted to say that weren't in the film. Enbridge, just to reiterate, it's a foreign corporation. It's a Canadian multinational corporation, as Winona LaDuke and who was in the film. A lot of the Indigenous women who are leading the camps, or a big presence at the camps, you just saw in the film: Winona LaDuke, Tanya Abed, Tara Hauska, Dawn Goodwin, others. Yeah, this Canadian multinational, as they call it, is responsible for the largest ever inland oil spill in the United States in the early 90s in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It was the largest ever inland oil spill in the United States. Enbridge was responsible for it. So they don't have a great track record. They have tons of oil spills. And Anishinaabe nations are fighting this because of their treaty rights. The oil is going to ruin the water. It crosses the Mississippi twice. It crosses through 40 plus wild rice beds, and wild rice is sacred to the Anishinaabe people. So even if the pipeline, it does go through some reservations, and then it also goes through treaty territory where Anishinaabe people have the right to hunt, gather wild rice and fish, and this is threatened by the pipeline. And as they mention in the film, a lot of this oil is destined for overseas. There is actually no demand for this oil. There's no demand for tar sands oil in the United States. So there was just recently a court case at the end of March. The Minnesota Department of Commerce is saying there is no need for this oil. So the Minnesota Department of Commerce, a state department, is suing the Public Utilities Commission, saying you should never have given these people a permit because we actually don't need the oil. You should never have given them a certificate of need. So if that court case is won, then that's a huge win. Enbridge is rushing to try to finish this pipeline before court cases can be heard, because they know they have a terrible chance at winning because they've done such a shoddy job. But they're rushing so fast that they actually killed one of their own workers in December, a man named Jorge from Texas or from somewhere in the South, who had 9 children. He was run over by a piece of equipment because Enbridge doesn't follow its own safety protocols. Yeah, I'm gonna put in the chat, maybe I'll do it right now, and maybe I want to do this more than once, a link to, I don't know how to make that into a link, so hopefully you can just copy it. A link to, this is a fantastic Google Doc for how to get involved in the camps. It would be tricky if you just showed up to the camps. It might be beautiful and you might feel confused as to what's going on. Both things could happen because people are human in the camps. There's way, it's not like Standing Rock where there's one big, huge camp. There are like at least 5 and maybe more. So that is a great Google Doc that if you want to do direct action, I would highly encourage you, almost insist that you go through the orientation trainings that they have on this Google Doc. It's a great way to learn how to show up. If you just want to support from afar, there's like a million different ways you can support, and looking for like who needs money right now. The legal fund really needs money because all these people keep flocking down and getting arrested, and there aren't enough movement lawyers to support them. So we need to hire more legal support. Anyway, I think I'll turn it over to Teddy and Gaia, who've been there recently, and thanks for listening.
Give Brenna a big gratitude for educating us, for your work, your commitment. And Teddy and Gaia will add on based on their recent experiences.
I also just want to say real quick, I put a link in the chat that if you want to learn more about Brenna's work with the valve, for necessity valve turners, I'll repost it in there, but you can learn more about that in the link that I post. Thanks, Brenna. And go ahead, Teddy and Gaia, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Brenna. Thank you for your courage and for showing up over these years. Yeah, it's really powerful to hear about how and when folks have woven into this movement. And I know for me, I'm weaving in recently more in the just past few months. So it's really important to know the kind of greater context that the Anishinaabe folks have been holding it down for years and years. So thank you for that context. Yeah, I literally, thank you for starting with that song, Lou. I heard the call of one of my ancestors to actually show up in Minnesota. My grandmother was born in the Twin Cities, and she was a Jewish immigrant who was fleeing violence in Eastern Europe, and she came to seek refuge in this place. And she called me to go out to connect with the land of her birth and the waters of her birthplace, knowing too that those ancestors weren't entirely aware of the reality that they were settlers on stolen land, on stolen Indigenous land. And so where I am in my position now of having that awareness and being able to hear the call of the Anishinaabe women leadership out in the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Dakota land has been humbling privilege. So yeah, deep gratitude to my grandmother and for inviting me into this work. I heard the kind of direct call to come out through East Point Peace Academy and the Yet to Be Named network. I see a lot of folks here. Yeah, I've met through those trainings. Yeah, so just a kind of short plug for the Yet to Be Named network. It is a decentralized constellation of direct action teams at the intersection of racial healing and climate justice. And it's actually a collaborative effort within or between multiple organizations throughout the US, and East Point Peace Academy is one of those. So I heard the call, the newsletter call from East Point, and then I heard the spiritual call. And from there, it looked a lot about orienting. So kind of what Brenna was speaking to of orienting to the movement, watching a lot of videos, bringing myself up to speed of what has been going on the past few years and more recently, which Teddy will speak more to. And then plugging in with organizers on the ground and their trainings. So there's a lot of awesome trainings about decolonization, how to show up in a good way in an Indigenous-led movement, direct action trainings, security culture trainings, just recognizing there's a lot of surveillance happening, both by the corporation by Enbridge, as well as the local law enforcement. So definitely, you know, if you feel called to actually, you know, move your body out to show up on the ground, happy to connect with you and support that process of getting oriented in your mind, in your body and spirit, knowing that the songs that we'll be learning tonight are also powerful medicines to carry. So that's how I dropped in, heard the call, started orienting myself, and then learned that this movement is deeply relational. So it's about relationships. It's about being in touch with an individual and connecting with that individual, whether they be an organizer or someone at an action camp who is closest to the construction. And so forming those relationships took time, and also people have been so generous with their time in kind of just opening arms to support. So that relational piece is super important, as well as what Brenna kind of referenced is that it's a very emergent movement. So especially now, because we're kind of at these last months of construction, things are happening quickly and changing all the time. So there's a certain level of, if you do want to show up on the ground, of you may or may not know exactly what's happening at each camp. But there are definitely ways of plugging in. And I think I'll hand it off to Teddy to share a bit how we did it. And then I'll come back around at the end to share a little bit about the water out there.
Thank you, Gaia. That was beautiful and clear. Thank you. I have Gaia to thank for becoming involved. I think one of the things I've been asked to share a little bit about what the experience was being on the ground in an action camp. So I'm going to share some reflections on that. Especially for people who are considering going. And what I will say is that all y'all should go. And that there's a lot of different roles and locations within the movement to get involved. One of the things, though, that we came back here with and were charged with from some of the elders that we formed relationships there was go back and get your people. And so I just want to, Brenna mentioned, you can show up and it's you could show up to this place unannounced. It's not the best way to do it. So that's why we have some on-ramps for people, and we're going to send out some links at the end on ways to plug in. But just want to be super clear that the invitation is really clear from Indigenous leadership, and it's actually what's needed right now in this moment is for people to show up there in the coming month. I would say in end of May, June. And so being in an action camp was a really powerful and beautiful thing.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important to show up like
I was going to wrap back around to
it. Sorry. I should
you're the one who talks in spirals, but okay, me too. So being there was really it was a beautiful experience. We were at an action camp that was the Welcome Water Protectors Camp, and that's a very public camp. That's the public camp. So that's where people can go to land. And it's a really special place. It's 80 acres of land that's pretty swampy, actually. We found out that it was right in the middle of mud season when we arrived. And mud season happens to be the season when the sugar maples are running. So it was one of the beautiful aspects of our time there, was to be able to connect with the trees and be collecting sap from buckets. And yeah, so knowing that in going to the Welcome Water Protectors Camp, it's a land project. And one of the elders there was like to call it, and Winona LaDuke also calls it this, a fossil fuel addiction treatment center. So that's what they're creating there. It's a beautiful thing that they're creating, and the land is in an Indigenous land trust. It was purchased by Winona LaDuke a few years ago, knowing that the pipeline would literally was going to run and abut this land. So I also want to share, it's an intergenerational camp. The scene there was really beautiful in that way. Young kids keeping it wild with their animal noises, and an autonomous camp. So it was really like kind of what I would say is get in where you fit in. It was kind of get there and be humble, be quiet, and start to listen and see what's going on. And it's easy to plug in. People were very welcoming in our case when we were there. But it might not always be the case given what's going on. So one aspect to life there too was that it was really decision-making power was in the elder Indigenous leadership that were living there on site. So and it was just it was a beautiful collection of people. It was young youth that were creating home as they went about in the world and had landed there to support this pipeline project. There were locals who were back to the landers. There were older folks who'd been, a camp cook that had been supporting this camp, direct action camps his whole life. Just goes from one action camp to the next. Beautiful person. And then, some other locals, people who had grown up there in these tiny towns and had also, coming from settler ancestry of multiple generations in this part of the world, who are now co-conspirators. Eagle Scouts, there were lots of people. Anyway, so I think what I wanted to share as well is just the first day we got there, we were taken on a walk with one of the Indigenous elders, and he brought us down to the place where they've clear cut a stand of white pines, which is a tree from my childhood, actually, that I feel connected to. And there had been an action there earlier this winter. Someone had sat in a tree, as Brenna had mentioned, for 11 days. And this camp was the Welcome Water Protectors Camp, was very much an action camp at that point and was giving direct support to this person during that time. And unfortunately, they were brought out of the tree and the tree was cut down in front of them. So there's a ruthlessness to the law enforcement, but also an elder told us a story about a young lieutenant who said, in the midst of an arrest, some young lieutenant was like, as an aside to this elder, you don't know how many people are on your side. So the complexity is deep. There's the way that the communities are divided up there is really deep. There's a wonderful article in the that we can post about the way it's been dividing communities. But we were brought to this place, and literally this land runs along the Mississippi River, and so we were so fortunate to camp on the banks of the Mississippi, where it's about 40 yards across, and sit with it on a daily basis and pray there, and jump in it on our last day. And we got the whole camp to come and jump in with us. Of course, with some guidance from the elders as to protocol, to offer tobacco, to ask the water to do you no harm, and to let the water know that you mean no harm. We brought back some of that water with us, which we have right here.
Yeah, so this is the water that I'm not pouring on my laptop, that we are protecting and inviting y'all to protect and continue protecting. They're here with us. And yeah, just to loop back around, why do we need to go out now and at the end of May and June? Like, what's the scene?
Right. Thanks for reeling me in. Yeah, we left with very clear directives from the elders and from everyone there to go back. I will say we left with a lot of maple syrup in our bellies. We left with some really awesome patches given out to water protectors. Their patchwork is fierce out there. And we left with a clear understanding of what's coming, and that's that construction will resume in late May and June. And that means there's going to be some major confrontations. And this, as we know, this has been happening for months and years, and it's really going to come to a head in May and June, we believe. And there are 21 river crossings in this small area that Enbridge wants to drill underneath the Mississippi River to send the pipeline underneath. They have about access to one or two drills that are able to do this. And so what we do know is that the land is on our side in that way. The winding of the river is on our side, because there will be many opportunities to concentrate our efforts to stop the drilling. So I left in tears there, because one of my visions in leaving, I saw all of us going down the Mississippi River in floats and canoes and kayaks, and we were celebrating our victory. That's right. We're gonna stop this pipeline. Because half of South Minneapolis showed up in late May and June at each of these crossings and said no, and had a joyful rebellion on the water to stop this pipeline. And I believe that's going to happen. I really believe it. So I invite you to believe it with me, and I invite you to come. And one of the Indigenous elders said there might be like a big, what's it called? Flamingo float on the water. So just know there's going to be some wild stuff happening, and we pray that no one drowns and that everyone is okay. And there's going to be plenty of work in pipeline removal in 2021 and 2022. So.
Mm-hmm. That's where job economy is shifting to. So yeah, just to close, thank you so much for that info. And we can definitely speak more with folks about direct action. We oriented towards the camp and logistics, but we were in contact with folks who participated in direct actions when we were on the ground, and that is needed. Direct actions tend to be within your pod, so only the folks who are participating in the action actually will plan it. So it can take, the law enforcement by surprise. So happy to talk more about that as well. And yeah, and all roles are needed. So we showed up specifically with the role of supporting camps. We brought herbal medicines from our awesome community of herbalists in the Bay Area, and supported the folks with space holding. That's really great to show up if you have skills or a role that can support the movement. You're needed on kind of like any step of the way. So just want to close with an offering the water and the importance of song in the movement. I'm going to link a song in the chat. It doesn't look like we'll have time to sing through it, but I definitely encourage you to listen to it. It's called The Water Song. And it was a song created by an Anishinaabe woman who has been walking around the Great Lakes for decades, the past two, praying to the waters and saying that, singing that she loves them. And this song is kind of what we gleaned on the ground, is one of the songs of the movement and of all of the movements for water and protecting the water. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. And I will share that in Ojibwe, the language of Anishinaabe folks, the water is called Nibi. And so the water is here. Please connect with your waters, thank your waters, listen to them, and yeah, and show up with us to protect them. Water is life. Yeah. Thank you all so much. Our emails will be available, totally open to connecting directly. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you on the front lines, on the internet front lines, on the ground front lines. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much, Teddy and Gaia. Let's give them some snaps, shout outs, love in the chat. Beautiful, beautiful storytelling. Thank you for transmitting all of that, which would be so hard for us to know the details without your direct witnessing. And thank you so much to Brenna. And everyone's emails are in the sheet that I chatted out. I'll chat that again. And we're going to take a little movement break with T and then dive into our singing portion of the night.
Yay. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Teddy and Gaia. Thank you, Brenna. I just want to invite everyone to stand up or do a move around. We've been sitting and listening a lot. So stand up in your space where you are. If you want to move your body, shake your body, do whatever you need to do. Just do a little stretch. Thank you for all your listening, and really keep following those links that we put in the chat. You'll have them in a Google Doc. So follow the links, get a drink of water if you need to. We'll just take a minute or two here to have a moment of break before we jump into a bunch of songs. And you're welcome to keep moving as we sing. Great, awesome. Yeah, stretch it out, shake it out, do whatever you need to do. Run to the bathroom, come back quick. Awesome. And you can keep stretching if you want. And I'm just gonna jump. I think we're good to just jump into songs, yeah? Is that true?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a pulse check really quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Here. So my friends, we want to know what experience you might have already with singing and movements. And so maybe you have a lot of that. Maybe you're an activist, but not a musician. Maybe you're a musician, but not an activist. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Maybe it's something else. So we just put in the chat a few words on that if you'd like to share, like where you're coming from around the specific intersection of music and organizing, activism, resistance work, because we would like to know that. Lou, T, and I will be loosely facilitating this next portion and want to know how much to sort of teach about song leading if you want to take on that role. And also we're mostly going to just spend time teaching you songs, but we're going to drop in a few tips here and there because we really believe in like training the song leaders, because you know we can only be in one place, but all of you can go out into the world and turn everywhere into a street choir. So that's our vision. So yeah, is there any experiences? Nice. Those are coming on in. So yeah, different experiences. And this is something that I am always working on, T is always working on, Lou is always working on. It's a practice that we develop in in terms of like tapping into your power to find the right song at the right moment and tap into the energy of the group. So yeah, T, what's one of your favorite tips you want to give up front when you're thinking about doing that role?
You know what I want to do? I think I want to jump into singing, just because let's get going on a song, because we've been sitting for a little while, and then we can share some tips as we go. How does that sound? Give me some motion if that works for you. Good. Cool, awesome. So I'm gonna teach a song by Lou and the Peace Poets. This is People Gonna Rise like the water. And just to say, yeah, thank you so much, Eva, for that little introduction on, we'll keep giving tips as we go. Lou and Eva and I have all done a bunch of song leading in the streets, and we got lots of things to say about it. So as we go, we'll give you some tips, but let's start moving our bodies. You're welcome to get up and move as you sing, or have something to do some rhythm with. You can shake or clap or snap, whatever you want. It goes like this. I'll sing it through once and then I'll teach it to you. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. And then the other time it goes, keep it. Oh shoot, hold on, I'll sing it when I got it. Let me do call and response. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. Try that. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. Yeah, let's just go through that. Hear the people gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. A couple more times. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. One more time. People gonna rise like the water. We gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter singing, keep it in the ground. Thanks, y'all, and I'll pass it over to Lou now to lead us in some more songs.
Thank you so much, T. I appreciate you. Thank y'all for singing. Yeah, one more plug for just writing songs and getting, trusting yourself about the message that needs to come through, is that whatever you write, a lot of times if something connects to folks, it might actually become useful in a different situation. So that's which is the truth with that song that's been used for a lot of different things. And I'd love to hear you singing it, T, and have it be, the different ways it gets sung. You get to see a song get better is what I'm saying over here. Okay, so this is we're gonna start with this one because I love that story about the woman singing to the water, and that was something. This is a song that was written with organizers and activists in Anishinaabe territory, and so it's good to bring it here to y'all when we were up there with them not too long ago. So the words of the song, we're gonna speak them out, are Gitchigami, which is Lake Superior. So say Gitchigami. We respect you. And we here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Then we'll say, yeah, we're just gonna do that version. So you learn the melody and get to say that. It's a song to the water, and so we don't want to let that be an idea. We know that the water can hear us from wherever we are tonight. So we're really singing to that lake, to the waters that nourish so many of our relatives. It's like this. Gitchigami, we respect you. We here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Let's try that. Gitchigami, we respect you. We here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Gitchigami, we respect you. We here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Let her know. Gitchigami, we respect you, and we here to protect you till all of our children know your name. We'll sing your name. Gitchigami, we respect you, and we here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Sing that like a prayer. Gitchigami, we respect you, and we here to protect you till all of our children know your name. We'll sing your name. Gitchigami, we respect you, and we here to protect you till all of our children know your name. Sing it one more time. Gitchigami, we respect you. We here to protect you till all of our children know your name. And I'll say this about that song. Thank you so much for singing. Thank you for singing to the water, for honoring her in that way. I'll say that there's a lot of times what we're doing with music is we're using the power of connection. So we just got on the same vibration with each other, right? With you, wherever you are with my voice. That's a powerful thing. And when we're actually communicating to the water, it don't matter who's around us, right? You know, there could be all kinds of riot police, as there often is, you know what I mean? There's workers, they might be yelling things, but we're connecting either to each other or we're connecting to the water, right? And so to notice who we're singing to, who's the audience of our songs. That's something that I feel like it's just one I want you to always remember as a song leader, that you're not just offering music the way music is often thought about or talked about in society, but you're offering prayer and you're offering connection, you're offering power, you're offering grounding, you're offering what we need in moments of direct action. And so I did see in the chat that some of y'all, you know, experienced song leader and they're like, yeah, let's do it. It's my shit. I love it. And then other folks just like, I'm just still trying to getting in there a little bit, you know? And so this is like, I was reminded of the moments when we, just like you were in the march and there's like nobody really rocking it and you like looking who's around you, like, all right, who's going to do this next one with, you know, who are we going to do? And then the first time you do it, it's like this loud. You like, all right, it goes like this, like defund line 3, and people next to you are like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it if you do it, you know. And so it's just like really like lifting up the power of just practicing it with your homies, basically, or like the people next to you, and then getting it going and really getting people into it. And so we'll go ahead and do that one actually, because there's actions happening all over the country to defund line 3, and this is an important one. And it's this really simple. I wrote a bunch of complex ones and I'm like, no one's gonna learn this shit. I gotta do it more simple. And so this, all it says is these words. I'll invite you to say it with me. Say defund line 3. The people and the water will flow free. Damn, that sounded prophetic wherever y'all spoke it. So say it again. Defund line 3. The people and the water will flow free. That's right. And so we're going to sing that through one time and invite you to join. The thing about this song, like I said, is that moment of prophecy where you're using your voice to speak it into reality, into existence, that the banks will defund this pipeline, that this company will lose the ability to do it, that the people and the water of these lands will flow free. And so we need your voice to be powerful. Let's do it like we mean it. It's like this. Defund line 3. The people and the water will flow free. Try that now. Defund line 3. The people and the water will flow free. Come on, y'all. Defund, let's go. Line 3. The people and the water will flow free. We said defund line 3, line 3. The people and the water will flow free. Like you mean it. Defund line 3. The people and the water will flow free. Make it come true. Defund with your voice. Line 3. The people and the water will flow free. 2 more times. Defund. What now? Line 3. That's right. The people and the water will flow free. We said defund. Line 3. Why? The people and the water will flow free. Yes, my people, that's right. I love to see y'all singing. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting your voice in that prayer out there. I'm just so grateful for it. And I'll pass it on to you, Eva, if that's cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Lou. Yeah. Lou has written so many of these songs. I just want to give gratitude again for the production of new music, because we have so much beautiful old music that we reference in our street choir, but we're also really hungry for new stuff. So thank you so much to the Peace Poets for being the songwriters of the modern movements. And yeah, I echo what Lou said on y'all should write some songs and let's work them out. So the next song I will teach us is, I just put the lyrics in the chat. It's one of my favorites these days. It's just so upbeat and animated. It just makes me smile every time I sing it. And it's by a songwriter, Maggie Wheeler. And it's actually a much longer song than I've put here. There's a few verses, but we just like to keep it simple, as you've noticed from that last song. 2 lines is enough. So keep it simple is one of my main tips. We don't really pass out song sheets a lot because, you know, we don't have hands for that. We're doing other stuff. Usually I'm holding a drum. So I think that the simpler and shorter the songs can be, the better. This one is a little longer, but it's also really catchy. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk for the water is life. I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. Again, I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk for the water is life. I walk for the water is life, and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the spirit, I walk in the light. I walk through the darkest hours of night and I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. And I call on my ancestors to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. Thank you. Over to you, T.
Thank you, Eva, and thank you to Maggie Wheeler for that song. I also just want to name that as we talk about ancestors, people who have passed, there's been the death of LaDonna Bravebowl, who was one of the leaders of the movement at Standing Rock. And so I just want to bring LaDonna Bravebowl's name into this space and honor her leadership, honor her life, and all of the other Indigenous leaders who are standing, who are putting their bodies on the line and doing so much for justice. I want to sing a song that's one of mine, and then I'll pass it back to you, Lou, and I think we have time for a couple more songs. This is May This Body Be a Bridge, and it came through me after spending some time at Standing Rock. And the words, may this body be a bridge for the healing of this land, come from my friend Saeed Abdallah, who grew up in Palestine. And he said those words in the context of the Palestinian Liberation Movement. And with his permission, I've used them in this song. And feel free to take this one with you. It's really a song about seeing what it means for each of us to use our bodies and our lives for justice and our own liberation. The words are, and I'll just say this first, may this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. Say that with me. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. And let's say that one more time. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. Say that with me. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. Say that with me. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. It goes like this. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. Sing that with me. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. Sing that with me. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. And all together, may this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. Couple more times. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. One more time. May this body be a bridge for the healing of this land. May the river flow through us, cleansing greed from our hands. Thanks, everybody. And I'll pass that back over to Lou.
That's my jam right there. Thank you so much, T. Love that song. Thank you for shout out to, yeah. that beautiful melody and those powerful words of Saeed there. Oh, wow. How y'all doing? We're together. Word. So I'm just arriving from like a rural area of Mexico. And I hadn't heard that sad news about Auntie LaDonna. And so I'm here with y'all, just processing that too. Yeah, honored to have got to learn from her and throw down in the streets with her. May she rest in power and goodness and love. And so, because the songs are, sometimes that's the way that we hold our grief too, you know, and our stress. We have a lot of ways of using music. I would actually, I would like to sing this one for her, because I think that she's not passed on, you know, and that she's just with us in a different way out here. And so we have so many elders with us, and so that's why we're gonna go ahead and sing this one like we mean it. This is actually came out of Standing Rock as well, and we were blessed to be out there briefly, and that sometimes we still got to remind this crazy society out here that we not protesters, that we are protectors. And so this was written with our boy Frank One, and tonight we do it for Auntie LaDonna, for all our elders, for our loved ones. We're gonna sing it like we mean it. We're gonna sing it for all our comrades who are right now risking their lives, who are like definitely sacrificing their comfort, you know. That's a lot of us who are here on the call. That's a lot of us who are going out there. It's like who've been out there, and it's people who are locked up right now. We remember that those who rise up are to protect are all the people who also protect their families in a good way and give each other food to eat and give each other nourishment of a good word and a good embrace. So with that, we sing this song. I'm just gonna sing it and y'all gonna come and learn it quickly. Just flow into it. And if you would, when you sing this song, the words are rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the ocean. So I want you to just imagine the most majestic, powerful mountaintops you've ever seen. I want you to imagine the power of the ocean that we flow with. I want you to feel like your spirit is awakened, like Auntie LaDonna's spirit. Okay. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the ocean. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors, we are the protectors. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the oceans. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors. We are the protectors, like a promise. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the oceans. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors, we sing. We are the protectors. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the oceans. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors. We are the protect. Imagine 1 million people singing that. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the oceans. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors. We are the protect. One more time, like a promise. Rising with the mountaintops, flowing with the ocean. We are the protectors, our spirits have awoken. We are the protectors. We are the protectors. Thank you so much. Thank you for singing that song. Thank you so much for helping me grieve and helping us raise up that precious message. You know what I mean? That just needs to be raised up. Just the most important thing I think to those of us who's here doing the song part of this is that we truly believe in the medicine of music, and that it's not a thing we just do out in the street. You know, it's also it's for us. You know, it's for us, and we need it. And so, in this bullshit capitalist society, we've really, been taught not to use it in ways that is medicinal. And so, it is both our medicine and our weapon. And so, I want us to remember to use it as both. You can use it when you need it. It is yours. It's your birthright, along with this beautiful world. So thank you.
Thank you, Lou, for that medicine. And in closing, just want to give really a lot of gratitude for all of you for being here the whole time, really. Such a good container. And I'm chatting now one more time, our link with all of the links, the link of all links, which has the song lyrics from tonight. We humbly share those with you and bless you to go learn them. There's also a special gift in there from Peace Poets, which has a website with all the recordings of their songs. So go enjoy that. Also, please sign up for Thrive Street Choir, especially if you're in the Bay Area. Thrive East Bay is like our parent network. So thanks to Thrive East Bay. Tonight, all the money raised from the ticket sales, we're going to be donating well, Teddy's going to speak to that. So Teddy, you want to close us out with the money talk?
All right. Not usually the one giving the money talk. All right. So as we heard from Brenna earlier, it sounds like jail support is where it's needed right now. So we just dropped a link. It's a fundraiser.com. That's a funny spelling on fundraiser. And that's where it's needed. Also, if you go to stopline3.org/take action, I believe is what it is. Stopline3.org. If you go to take action, below the petition, there are a couple buttons where you can donate directly to the front lines. And there are a lot of supplies that are needed too. I'm going to put my email in the chat if anyone wants to reach out and get more specific info about what's needed. I know at the very top of the needed supplies list right now is literally canoes and exclamation marks. So yeah, they're preparing for the confrontation on the water. So I'm going to bring my canoe, I know. And yeah, I hope to see many of y'all there and just continue to be in touch and together here in this movement ecosystem. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to the facilitators, Eva holding it down, T, Lou, thank you. Thank you
so much.
And can you just, if you're with us here, please just give me a shout or give me a hand raise if you're feeling inspired to take action on stopping line 3. I'm feeling inspired, educated. Let's go there. Let's send money. Let's send people. Let's do it. Lou, close us out.
Thank you so much, loved ones. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for your presence, for your voice, for being able to see you actually is really, really good medicine, and being able to sing with you is a real blessing. And so tonight, as we close this portion, I've been thinking a lot about commitment, what it is to be committed, committed to so much that loves us. Word, shout out to the frogs. Thanks for noticing. Are the frogs just going like, y'all can hear the frogs? Okay, that's what's up. I'm in the middle of Oakland. I'm not even gonna explain. That's it. That's it. I'm in the middle of Oakland. The frogs is wilding out here. And it's really powerful actually, because the little tiny pond where the frogs live is called Sister Death, honoring the important part of returning to La Pachamama. And so, yeah, shout out to the frogs and Sister Death. So there's this, there's just such a important element to being able to spend time together in the midst of struggle, and it's really hard to do it when we're far away, as many of us are in these times. And so extra nourishment to you if you've had to spend a lot of time alone recently, if you haven't been able to be out with the people. Know that the people love you and the people waiting for you. I definitely believe that. And hopefully you find that medicine of connection in whatever way that you need it. I moved to sing probably the simplest song I got. Pero pues sí, the Pachamama is always calling us, you know what I mean? Que llamándonos a volver, to live in a good way, with the earth. And so I wanted to sing this song. It's a song that came through at a waterfall in upstate New York. And it simply says, "Come home, we know you. Come home, we'll hold you." Man, it's a powerful way to invite you to use your voice. Maybe you haven't used it before. Maybe you have not used it as you haven't sung as a tree before. You have not sung as a certain river. Maybe you haven't been aware that your voice is going to channel a mountain. But that's what it's going to do right now. No. That's what it's going to do right now. Hope the song can be whatever you need right now. As we sing, "Come home, we know you. Come home, we'll hold you." Yeah. Here you go. I feel like I'm having a whole experience because I really need this song right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, okay. So I need y'all to sing it from wherever you at, and need us to hear it too. That we're calling each other and we're being called. All right. Come home, we know you. Come home, we'll hold you. Try that now. Come home, we know you. Come home, we'll hold you, as the water sang. Come home, we know you. And come home, We'll hold you as the mountains come home, come home. We know you come home. We'll hold you. Here we go now. Come home. We know you. Sing that. Come home. We'll celebrate it now, y'all. Come home. We know you. Feel welcome. Come home. We'll one more time. Come home. We know you. Come home. We'll hold you. Thank you so much. Welcome home, my people. We appreciate you. Blessings on your evening. Drink water. Get some rest. Lots
Thank
of
you,
love.
everybody, for being here.
Thank you so much, Lou, for that last song. Thank you, everybody. And just a reminder that the links are in the chat if you want them. And take care of yourselves as you go from this space. Feel free to come off mute as you say goodbye if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Wow, so good to see you.
Good night. Thank you so much.